The panel introduce themselves, right? So if you could everybody listen up, and Vanessa will start.
Sure. She knew she was going to be first.
My last name also begins with an A. So.
Alzate, yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa Alzate. I am the founder and CEO of Anchor Trading and also the president of the Mid-New Jersey ATD chapter. So I came from a learning and instructional design start, not what I meant to do. I actually meant to be Elle Woods, I meant to be a lawyer, and then decided that law was not for me. And I actually graduated during the economic crash of 2008, and so I did not actually graduate with a job, and it took me, so I graduated in May, so it took me until January 5th, 2009, I actually got my start working with pharma reps, and I thank God for that opportunity because it taught me all the things that I ever wanted to know about learning. Pharma reps kept it fun for me and engaging because it was software training, and I'm so not a boring software person. But through those experiences and thereafter, I came to, birth Anchor Training. So Anchor Training came to be in 2018. It was right after I gave birth to my second daughter, 1 year and 2 weeks after I birthed my first. So at one time I had three children under one. And I am so glad that I did that. It's given me the opportunity to help other companies rethink learning and development and re-strategize what instructional design looks like. And now I am on the conference and speaking circuit known as the TikTok lady because I talk all about what TikTok means to learning and development.
So my name is Barbra, and I will just introduce myself as the stranger in the room. So I am not a learning and development professional, but I am passionate about it, and I appreciate all of you professionals that deal with this and try to educate us day in and day out. So I'm a managing director at iCapital Network. We are a financial technology company that creates access into alternative investments. And what I do have to say, I'm in a highly regulated environment, so I have to say this out loud, that the views that I present here today are my own and do not represent that of iCapital Network. So, but gotta do that. But I'm really happy to be here. So, like I said, I'm really passionate about learning and development, and as a financial professional, an accountant by trade, it's really difficult to get people energized about their own education. And so I think that's a lot about why I was very excited at Tom's invitation to be on the panel, is how do we, on both sides, get our teams excited about the importance of their training versus their productivity. There's a balance there. And that the long-term advantage for them is to concentrate on their development on a continual basis.
And that's like that would, for our folks in the back of the room, the human resource function, right? You have the leadership of the organization and HR concerned with training have to be working together. Okay, and Susan.
Well, hey everybody, welcome. I think I would want to tell you I'm simply an everyday person who has refused to believe that anything in front of me wasn't something I could overcome. And that's the only reason I'm here today. It's the only reason I even went to school, because unlike all of you really smart people, as a high school student, I'm not going to college and you can't make me. That was me. I wasn't great in school. I had a lot of other things happening that made it really that much harder for me to be in school. And God bless my parents, because they said, okay. And I got to the end of my senior year and I thought, all right, well, I don't actually know what I am doing now. So I did ultimately go off to school, but I did it in my own time frame, and I did it probably very different from most people that end up like on a speaking circuit. So the thing I would say to you is whoever you are today is only the vision of your imagination today. So whoever you want to become in the future, all you have to do is start dreaming up that life. and start figuring out how to make that your reality. And you can be the CEO if you want to be the CEO, which I am now proudly able to say. I am the CEO of my own company, but I had to spend a lot of money to own that, because that was not what normal, everyday, average people are. And so that's a story for another day. But I did spend a lot of money. I can proudly now say I am the CEO of my own training company. But my history is I was a school teacher. I taught 5th grade. I loved 5th grade. But I was not meant to be in a classroom. And from there, I ended up getting into banking. And I spent 10 years as a corporate learning executive. I was with Commerce Bank, and I know my stuff. My Jersey people know Commerce Bank. When it was Commerce Bank, I was a part of the South Jersey market. I lived in Philly at the time. I was part of the opening team. We opened New York. We built that whole area, and then I moved there. I was still with Commerce when I moved there. I eventually went on to run service globally for W Hotels. And I was at the pinnacle of that career at Ann Taylor University when I was proudly laid off in 2008. So there I was, back at the beginning, and from there I did a side gig in real estate. And I can also tell you, to this day, I've sold $26 million in real estate. Thank you. For somebody that had never sold, for somebody that was very afraid to be in front of other people, truly, I think the best thing that ever happened for me, because it literally is my sales and my marketing ability that have ultimately made me the best trainer that I could be, as well as to create the business that I have now, which is actually, we call ourselves a business consulting company, which I think is really interesting. We provide learning solutions, but we rebranded as a business consulting company, and I'm going to tell you why, because I think this is really important for any aspiring learning and development people, anyone in learning and development, is that when, and this is true, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time if you don't like the sound of it, but it's true. When I go to sell my services, my deals get stuck in the L&D world. When I sell my services to the CEOs and the operations, my deals go through. And I could tell you a million stories about why that happens, right? But it is because learning often doesn't have the background of sales and marketing that enables them to get the business to say yes. They don't quite know that process. So I actually spend a good portion of my time. It's one of the reasons I'm here today. I speak a lot at conferences about how to turn your learning metrics into stories that you can tell CEOs, because that's what gets your funding, that's what gets you to the table, that's what gets all of these amazing ideas into the hands of everybody else. And I'm thrilled to be talking about communities, which is, virtual things, because until that happened, we couldn't tell those stories. We could only tell the story of how many people did you train, how many people did you show up, how many people took the workshop. Like, it literally is the pandemic and the birth of hybrid and everything that has come with that, that finally enabled us as a community to be able to stay with people long enough that we could get them over, and I loved, someone said it earlier, the buts, right? How do we solve the two biggest gaps is yes, but, right? And I can't do that. And that's, believe it or not, I'll share some stats later, that's about 70% of your audience. So if you're training for the information, you're going to capture the 10 to 15 people who are already in the pool with you. The rest of your world is saying, yes, but, and I can't. And the better you get at solving those problems, the better results and the better stories you get to tell. And I believe that hybrid, the things you're talking about, the things I've heard everybody else talking about, is the path to that future. So to all our aspiring learning people in the back, make sure you have really good business skills too.
Very good. All good, all good. And get right to the decision maker, right? Very good. What I'll do is I'll just pick out and give one question each. We'll start with Vanessa. So question number one, as professionals, what successful examples of leveraging social media for learning have you seen and how were they used?
Yeah, so I'm not going to
Go right
center
ahead.
on learning communities. I actually think that is the wave of the future. I think we all learn from each other. But what I find is that actually we are sleeping on TikTok as maybe not putting the material on that platform, but utilizing that style and what we're learning from that platform in terms of learning and development. So everything on TikTok is short, engaging, to the point. They're telling a story. You're engaged by TikTok because it is talking to a pain point that you specifically have. And then the creators on that platform know that you have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention or they're going to scroll by. Why aren't we doing the same thing in learning and development, right? Why aren't we creating content that is giving you the hook from the beginning rather than the learning objectives? I don't care that I'm going to understand something because guess what? You can't measure whether or not I understand that. So tell me more of the story of how I'm going to use this in my everyday work. How is this going to make me do my job faster? How is it going to get me done at closer to 5 o'clock at night so I'm not working all night on something, right? Those are the things that actually hook people into the learning. And those are the tips and tricks that I'm seeing on TikTok. The other thing that I love about TikTok and where I think that it can go and what the beauty of it, and when we're sleeping, is that it's utilizing 2 other principles: activation and collaboration. There's always some sort of call to action, and you're also actively engaging that call to action. How many of you guys have shared a TikTok or a reel with a friend that you think would benefit from it? How many of you guys have group chats in which you're actually sharing TikToks and reels and saying, oh my gosh, did you even know that we could do this? Look at this tip. I'm constantly doing that, and that is the key to our next level of learning, is creating those communities and actually engaging our learners and saying, this is how you're going to participate. Let's actually get you to practice what we're doing. Share it with a friend. Comment down below. Share your pinpoints. Share how have you solved this problem. Those are all the keys to the future. And then there's the one that I like to talk about that's like my new phrase. It's not new in the TikTok space, but it's going to be new for learning and development, but it's edutainment. So how can you educate while telling a story? We're going to remember stories. I'm not going to remember the facts. So I actually have some customers that I'm working with now, like Orange Theory Fitness, where we're actually looking to pull together a pool of TikTok-style videos of a day in the life of the sales associate and a day in the life of the studio manager. Because we know that the typical persona of a studio manager or a sales associate, they don't have a ton of time. They can only get these quick tips and tricks. And so we're creating that community, we're creating that content library for them to get those quick tips and tricks, because we know they're not going to Orange University. We know they're not going to go to the LMS. We know they're turning to their manager that doesn't have time to answer their question to get that question answered. So what if we provide them a TikTok-style experience to get that question answered and to collaborate and share? So I can keep going on my TikTok and TikTok.
No, but you know what I want to say is I love the fact, so again, highly regulated environment. TikTok is not allowed to be touched, right? Don't even go on TikTok. You can't. Like there's like
That's why we create things like ML2.
Right, that's right. We create different things. But I think the point being is consumable content and meeting people where they are and making it shareable, whether it's through an intranet or some sort of secure way. So don't limit yourself to the TikTok, and you brought that up, is don't limit yourself to the phrase TikTok or a reel, but making that similar platform, and how do we get to engage with others? I like to say that I'm in a point of time in my career, and I